Okay, I'm live. Let me see. I'm trying to add StreamYard that I stream off of to Instagram, and I'm trying to see if it's working. I don't know if it's working. But hello, everyone. Having trouble streaming to your destination? That's okay. Remove. All right. Hello. So I should be streaming live to my YouTube channel, Facebook main page, and private Facebook group that you can go join if that tickles your fancy. But hello, my name is Kayla. I am an intuitive, a mindset coach. My background is in psychology, energy worker, light worker, just overall indigo child, here to help the shift happening. Primarily my tools though are processing, like kind of psychological processing, shadow work, stuff like that, and also energy work. So really balancing the chakras, getting the chi flowing, removing blockages and stuff like that. So I really excel at removing emotional and energetic blockages, starting with working on my own stuff. And that's part of why I wanted to hop on here today and just talk about being a magical person, or the process of coming into one's own intuition or power, but especially as like a highly interested in a lot of things, highly creative, highly intuitive person like myself. So that's a bit about me and what we'll be talking about today. If you have any questions or comments, you can always comment. I'll be inviting anyone and everyone tuning in to burn their sage, their Palo Santo, anything that's going to help them clear the air and feel more grounded in the space. Hello, everyone tuning in. And then, And then I just put in the comments a program that is open for enrollment starting right now. On September 21st, the fall equinox, I will be offering a container transformational journey for a limited amount of people to go deep and work with me, primarily on accessing their own intuitive or magical powers, working through any boundary issues that might be there, working through some shadow work. And then after that is all cleared up, really diving into manifestation and creating with clarity one's dream life. So I put the link over there. Again, you can ask me any questions that you might have in the comments. And since it is Tuesday and we're talking about magic and all that stuff, I wanted to start off with a tarot reading. So we're going to shuffle. I don't know about you all, but I have resonated with tarot as a magical tool, a divination tool for a while now. And I make it my ritual to draw at least one card every day and really reflect on that as part of my alchemical journaling practice. I have a YouTube video where I talk more about my journaling practice, and that will be on my YouTube channel. So we're shuffling. What card? Okay. Ooh, we got the Magician on the day of the talk titled "You Are a Magical Badass." Go figure. Let me see if you can see it. And I really like this deck. I would recommend the Rider-Waite deck for anyone just starting off learning tarot and the symbology. But this is a deck that I really like because it has more Egyptian themes versus like Eurocentric themes. But on this card, we see number 1, the Magician with the infinity snake, the dagger, the chalice, the cat, and the red robe. And this card is really just an initiation into the mysteries. It's exactly the energy that I'm talking about today. This is, okay, you are at the beginning of your journey of essentially a whole new world, maybe a world that you've been told is evil or demonic, or a world that you've just been too afraid to explore, or you've been really curious to explore this world, but have never felt inspired or the support, or you don't know where to start. And that is the magician. It's like, hello, welcome to this magical journey. So I will talk a bit about my own coming into magic and my intuition. For me, it's something that I grew up with. Honestly, on my mother's lineage, we always had what we would refer to as like it or the thing, you know what I mean? Meaning intuition, messages we would just get. And I don't know how familiar you are with the clairs, clairaudience, claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairsentience. In my experience, it's been more sentience, like clearly sensing something. Maybe it feels like a vibration or something touching me, and it's corresponding with clear sensing and clear knowing. You know, it's not always been clairvoyance, like seeing stuff, but just intuitively knowing and like feeling. And that is what I grew up with in the culture of my mother and my grandmother, and even her mother, my great grandmother. We just knew stuff. So that was also encompassed in a bubble of religion that had I would say certain limits of not really pushing the envelope of what the gift really is, but staying in a comfort bubble, if that makes sense. So I grew up, and luckily I wasn't shamed or ridiculed within my family for my intuition or things I would just know or dreams I would have. I was really encouraged to explore that. I remember one time specifically, I had like a nightmare, and my mom said, like, you know, you can control your dreams, right? And it blew my mind. I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, yeah, you can literally do. She didn't say like, yeah, your soul leaves your body and you're in the astral realm. Like, she didn't use any of those words, but she said, you can, like, here's some empowerment. You can control your dreams. And I was maybe 4 or something at the time. And since then, my dream world has been such a beautiful playground for myself. Not to say I'm lucid every night, or that I don't still have like uncomfortable themes or phenomenons in my dreams, but that seed of empowerment has never left me. That knowingness of, oh, I can literally control my dreams. And on the other side, I can control my reality. If I can control my dreams, I can control my waking reality. So I'm super, super grateful for that. So in the family bubble, I'm getting all of this support. Yes, we have our intuition. We have our psychic abilities. We just know stuff. And then we can control our dreams. Yet still, the institution of religion is still there as far as when I'm a little kid growing up. And then I start going to school. And when I went to school, that's when I realized, or that's when I experienced no one else being like me. I'm like, no one's talking about their dreams. No one's talking about talking to their dead ancestors. No one's talking about hearing stuff or seeing stuff or feeling stuff or knowing stuff. Oh my gosh. And that is when I started to really internalize that something was wrong with me. That's when we might be getting messages of like, oh, you're crazy, something's really wrong, either from school or the media. So I felt like I had a lot of support in the home, but when I went to school, I didn't see any mirrors, didn't see any reflections. And I remember consciously shutting down my intuition. I called it like putting it in a shoebox and then putting it in the closet, like a sense of like, don't think about it. Don't worry about it. I need to be normal. And then, not to make it about race, but I also grew up around a lot of Caucasian, Caucasoid derived people. So I was already the other in so many other ways. I didn't want to be more of the other, if that makes sense. So I was like, okay, if I can't change how my skin looks and how my hair looks, I can change how I act and what I talk about, if that makes sense. So I put my witchy self in the closet, deep in the broom closet. Like, what are you talking about? And of course, I had some little pockets of expression and resonance in the family bubble, but still with restrictions from religion, right? So then going on my journey, I'm growing up. I developed basically an anxiety disorder by teenage years, because I was having trouble processing just stimuli and stuff that was happening to me. I end up getting on Xanax at one point, and it just did not help. It was totally symptom fixing and not getting to the root of the problem, which looking back, I feel like was the root of the problem was lack of genuine, authentic expression and support from community in these intuitive or outside of the box, outside of the norm gifts. So then, luckily, I work my way to get to college. I go to Ohio State, and at Ohio State, not only do I get into a counseling program there, as in like I'm getting counseled, discovering how to be more embodied, be more embodied, in touch with my feelings, all of that. But there was also a place called the Reiki Center. And at the Reiki Center, I got to learn not only Reiki, but I got to be seen and heard and so validated and supported for esoteric, witchy, outside of the box type of things outside of a family context. And that was a monumental shift for me. It really showed me that there is community out here. I don't have to fake the funk or whatever. I don't have to cut bits off of myself to be accepted. And that's really what I'm trying to get at today. Like, if anyone is still in that place of really not feeling seen and supported by community or by their own family, just like an affirmation that your people are out there, and especially with the times that we're living in, if you've not already found that community, I so empathize with people yearning for that and then maybe feeling especially like it's impossible to find. But I assure you it's not. And if you think that that is a limit in your own head implanted there by something along the way. So I get to college, I go to the Reiki Center, I'm learning not only Reiki, but I'm getting supported by community, and I'm learning these things like about chakras, about grounding my energy, about clearing my energy, protecting my energy. Because another thing that happens is people will come online with consciousness or like a heightened state of awareness, but they won't know how to filter out what they don't want to tune into. So then it's like it goes from silence to like too much noise, and then they want to shut the door again really rapidly. And again, I totally empathize, but I'm so grateful I found that support when I did, to slowly come into more and more awareness in a way that was like safe and not going to essentially fry my nervous system, which can happen. So yeah, grateful for them. So I'm learning Reiki 1, Reiki 2. I'm learning about chakras, how to ground and balance, all of these things. This is also while I'm in college studying more mainstream normal psychology, but that's why I think I have a program that is more unique, because it is combining my background with like a mainstream research institution degree studying psychology with all of these holistic practices as well, Reiki. And then at the same time, I'm also studying herbalism, which was really, really cool. And that is when I birthed Simply Lucid, the business, the project that I'm still working on now. It's like the umbrella under which my offerings come into the world through, you know what I mean? But the heart of it is to make as simple as possible the process of coming into higher awareness and your personal power. And that's why I'm here. Wanted to hop on here today, sharing a bit about my journey with my growing up in my family structure, and then how I came into more mainstream psychology, studying that, and then finally the Reiki and herbalism. And then since then, I have traveled the world basically, working with all different kinds of people from different parts of the US to different parts of, the world, continuing to put more tools in the toolbox, because that's the game for me, you know what I mean? So the course, the transformational container I'll be offering starting on the 21st of this month, will essentially be a lot of the tools and processes and tricks, habits, mindset shifts that I've picked up along the way in my journey to come into more of my personal power and come out of the broom closet. So what happens when you come out of the broom closet? put it in the comments if you can resonate. What happened to you? How has your life changed? But for me, like coming out in that way or stepping into my power in that way has had a domino effect. I've been able to meet so many cool people, like Soul Tribe, you know. I have been able to access and cultivate my gifts way better than if I would have been repressing them. And ultimately, I no longer have the severe panic attacks and severe anxiety that I knew for so much of my life. So it's a sense of like, not only what can you get from coming out of the broom closet, personal empowerment, awesome community, and a sense of meaning and fulfillment, like you're living your life's purpose, but it also takes away from what would happen if you didn't walk in your path. And for me, that really manifested in severe anxiety and panic attacks. And again, if you've resonated with any part of what I have been saying, feel free to comment with where you're at or any questions, but just understand, like, I'm so empathetic for people who are at points I've been on my journey. And I feel like my journey is not only for myself to keep growing and expanding, but also be an inspiration or help or support to people who are also on a similar path, if you know what I mean. Because having people helping me on my journey has been so foundational in me being inspired and keeping going and all of that. So yeah, that's a bit about what it was like for me to come out of the broom closet, and a bit of what happened if I didn't. Because one time I remember I was out of the broom closet, right? I was doing my reiki, my meditation, my herbalism, and then I started to get this sneaking suspicion. It was like, wait a minute, no, what if this is all wrong? And I completely gave in to self-doubt, shame, fear, guilt, totally influenced by other people, right? Not so much myself, but wanting to do this for other people. And sure enough, I got so depressed. When I cut myself off from these gifts and from these things. And I feel like a big limit for people is religion, which I don't want to get too much into that right now, but I know as far as programming and mental programming, what people think is okay for them to do and not do, we're coming out of the Piscean age. We're coming out of how many hundreds of years of this is how we do this, this is how we do this, this is how we do this. And to affect or want to change or grow or challenge beliefs on any level can trigger the burn the witch syndrome, that like where people have literally been burned at the stake, or what we have like cancel culture now, like a modern day witch hunt or whatever. Like that is totally valid. And I feel like the fear of that really sways people from standing in their personal power, in their truth. And that, you know, to each his own. If you can live, or if anyone can live with shoving down their authentic self, you know, when to fully come out would inspire scandal or people being pissed at them, or you're not the perfect wife, you're not the good girl anymore, all of these things, that's valid. But I'm saying I think it's way more fun and more badass to say fuck that and do what you need to do to stand in your authenticity, because we're not in the Middle Ages anymore. We're not in whatever year zero where you could get exiled from the tribe and go starve and freeze to death because you've been kicked out of the village. I'm not saying to throw empathy out the door. I'm not saying to be like a narcissistic psychopath, but I'm saying that we can really, really, really together in balance push the limits of what we think we need to do to be accepted. Parts of ourselves we need to shrink to be accepted, and all of that. And I'm saying in my own journey, this has been kind of an ongoing practice. I'll be like really standing in my power, and then sure enough, something will come up, shame, or something will come up, fear. And this is the shadow work part that I'm really bringing to the Simply Lucid journey starting later this month. It's like, yes, we are magical badasses, but we have all these other influences. How do we have healthy boundaries? How do we work through our own shit? How do we identify something as not really us, but something our great great grandparent has passed down and that we literally don't need anymore? And just staying present with all of that, trying our best not to judge, but really go through the journey. So yeah, I'm excited to see who resonates and who wants to like play Simply Lucid with me. A transformation really being from whether you have mild anxiety or some like bleh, just overall not being inspired, not standing in your power, not waking up loving your life, feeling like you're creating or doing what you want to do, and then transforming on the other side of that, being stoked to get out of bed, knowing what your unique gifts are and how you would like to cultivate those, how you would like to show up for the world. And I feel like as time ticks on, this work is getting ever more important, because if you don't figure out who you are, what you want to do, what you stand for, there are just like so many influences ready to tell you how to program you, you know what I mean? So this is really a call for autonomy and sovereignty in so many ways that I'm excited about. So yeah, that's a bit about my journey, talking about you being a magical badass, talking about what happens when you do come out of the broom closet, what happens if you don't want to come out of the broom closet, and then the real world results you would get from working with me, which would be access to like-minded community, being really supported, feeling more joy and play and lightness in your life, more clarity on what you would want to do, a stronger sense of boundaries to be less manipulated and influences by forces, beings, entities that you're not wanting to be influenced by, and how to feel good about that, to feel the least amount of guilt for standing in your power, having boundaries, and then figuring out what do you actually want, not your ego, not your teacher, not your parent, but you, the unique consciousness spark that came to this planet at this time. Like, what do you actually want? Because that's probably what the world needs as well. And yeah, like we have the freaking magician card came out to play as well for the tarot. There, the course won't have too much about the tarot, but since I love it, I have like a little bonus lesson about tarot. Also, if you've been interested in that, if that vibes with you. But yeah, I'm here to awaken the witch, magical, badass person in you, really identify what has been holding back that part of yourself, how to awaken and integrate that part of yourself in balance and resonance with all the other parts of your life, and how to expand that, how to create more space for joy, mysticism, private time, whatever you want, you know what I mean? So yes, again, I put the course link in the description, and let me know if you have any questions or comments. Thank you to everyone who tuned into the live, and I will be on tomorrow talking about more stuff. If I'm not back on before then, I hope you have an awesome day, and I hope you are daring to stay happy and blissed out and balanced and just chill and like fed well, loving well during these times. Take care, y'all. Peace.